I want to make sure we live first. Oh, this is like way too high. How's that? Oh, that's way better. Sheesh. Okay, I'm trying to figure this out. Please hold. How we sound? How we sound? Okay, I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, good. Okay, I think we're good. Started off a little 10 a.m. A little 10 a.m. action Mountain Time. Was that 9 Pacific? Let me know if y'all here. This is gonna be a good one. I'm not gonna take my time. I'm gonna take my time. I'm not gonna rush myself going over every single free agent signing so far. So it's gonna be a good time. Okay. So we got this little thing right here. Let me pull it up right here. Okay. Let me resize this. Let me like zoom in so y'all can see. Can I go over? Can I not? How do I move? Get the ad out the way, bro. I guess is that good? That's probably fine, huh? It's gonna be really close up. Holy crap! Let me move myself. Boom, boom. That's working clean. Okay, good, good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, starting it off, bro. Okay, so let's talk about it first. Let's hit this. Okay, free agency in the past has been like my absolute favorite thing. I've enjoyed, been like, wow, this has been amazing, right? Um, like KD signing the Warriors. We've had some crazy stuff. Braun leaving, going back to Cleveland. There's some big stuff. This year, I think people are thinking that this is a bigger year than it actually is. And mainly because of Paul George, and we'll get that in a little bit. Because Clippers fan, I maybe I should throw on my PG jersey when I talk about it. Maybe I'll go get that. But we'll talk about that later. We'll discuss it later. PG is not as big of a thing as I think we're making it. We'll talk about that later. So starting it off, as a Clippers fan, I was excited. The very first signing of free agency official, the very first official signing of free agency was the Dallas Mavericks forward Derrick Jones Jr. Going to the Clippers, and I did not expect this at all. This is not a thing that I was expecting to see. Um, let's see. Hold on. Making it. We'll talk about that later. So was the Dallas Mavericks forward Derrick Jones Jr. Going to the Clippers, and I did not expect this at all. This is not a thing that I just gotta make sure everything's working. Okay, stream is working. I'm trying to get better at streaming Tuesday, Thursday mornings. We'll get into that, but everything's working well, so appreciate it. So the Clippers got the guy who shut down PG. The reason PG's probably leaving the Clippers is because of this dude, and we got him for 3 years, $30 million, so $10 million a year. Not a bad contract. He played phenomenal. I mean, I was surprised that with the guy, the Mavericks signed him to a minimum, right? A vet minimum, have him on the roster, and he played very, very, very well. High above expectations, exceeded expectations, right? Kind of like Kelly Oubre did for the Sixers, but on a better level because the Mavericks played in every single round in the playoffs, and he played great at every single round. And the fact that he didn't stay with Dallas kind of blows my mind. But I mean, we got him. So 3 years, $30 million deal. I think that the Clippers are getting this vision. We'll talk about a lot of their signings later. I think the Clippers are getting this vision of like, oh wow, okay, like look at what Dallas did. Dallas had a 1-2, and Clippers 1-2 right now was James and Kawhi, or I guess Kawhi and James, and they're like, hey, the Mavericks just like loaded up their supporting cast and their defense, and they go far. Now the Clippers in the past, we've been trying to be like, hey, let's get Kawhi and PG, and we'll bring in Russ, and then we'll do okay. We're losing the first round. Okay, we'll bring in James, and we're still losing the first round because when Kawhi's out there, like how good is his team really? And we'll get into that a lot later about the Clippers' future and stuff. But as of right now, the very first signing of free agency, this was a big deal. Derrick Jones Jr. Leaving the Mavericks to come to the Clippers, and I think that's going to bolster the Clippers' roster a lot more. And I think it allows, if Kawhi's healthy, once again, this is like the 6th year that we're saying this, if Kawhi's healthy. But dude, if Kawhi Leonard is healthy and he's got this caster on him, it's literally 2019 Raptors, probably better. And we'll get into all of the the rest of the teammates that we got this season. So the Sixers, like I said, Kelly Oubre exceeded expectations, gets a 2-year, $60 million deal with the franchise. And the second year is a player option. So if he plays well next year or this season after that, he can be like, okay, I can leave or not. But I think this is a guy that they need to keep on the long term. As long as they're trying to compete, he's a guy that don't have to pay too much. I mean, $8.15 million a year for 2 years that's not terrible. That's just kind of like that's chump change, right? So just give him the money, and he plays well, plays hard, and I like them seeing on the team. So next one, Paul George agreed to a 4-year, $212 million maximum contract with the Philadelphia 76ers. This could have been a stream in and of itself. In fact, I wanted this to be the entire stream today, was just talk about the Paul George situation, because I'm a Clippers fan, and I've seen everything that there is about this specific signing. And if you have not seen the, you know what? No, let's talk about PG later. There's a lot more articles that come out at the end of this list that talk about PG and stuff like that. So we will get into PG at the very, very, very end. Okay, so stay tuned to the very, very end. We'll talk about PG. I'll go get my PG jersey, put it on. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so the Sixers get Maxey back. This is one of those signings where I'm like, I forget that you have like an extension. Like I don't really care about the extensions. I mean, like, oh, Tatum signed an extension with the Celtics. It's like, okay, well, who cares? Like he was already on the team, So Maxey, 5-year, $204 million. He deserves his money. All-Star game, averaged 26 points. That's a lot more than I thought he did. But he's playing very, very, very well. And he's one of my favorite young point guards in the league. There's a lot of young talent in the league right now that is coming up. And it's kind of interesting to see, because I started watching basketball in like 2013, 2014. And so like the young talent that I knew was like not necessarily young, but I mean like the Steph and like Westbrook. And then, I watched guys like Giannis and Jokic really coming in, like Embiid, and it was like, oh wow, these guys are really, really, really good. Now those are like the 3 best players in the league, right? Like Luka, Shea, Ant, and now like there's guys like Tyrese Maxey that are coming in. Halliburton is like a recent guy that's coming in. I mean, Ant is also a recent guy that's coming in, but he's been pretty good since his entire career, right? So moving on, Oklahoma City Thunder got Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins, they've got a they. I feel like I don't really know the difference between Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, and Case and Wallace, except for the fact that I know Isaiah Joe can shoot the freak out of the ball. Aaron Wiggins kind of does a little bit of everything, and then Case and Wallace kind of is like Aaron Wiggins, but he's like I feel like, do you go to say? I feel like they're all kind of the same player. But shout out to them. I mean, Isaiah Joe signed 4 year, $48 million deal. That's a heck of an extension. And then Wiggins gets 5 years, 47 mil. So that's a great pickup. This Thunder team is right now the best team in the West with Caruso and with the Hartenstein signing that we're going to talk about a little bit later. But as of right now, the Thunder are the number one team to look out for in the Western Conference. Jalen Smith from the Pacers goes to the Bulls. 3 year, $27 million deal. That's a lot more money than I thought he was going to get, but he's okay. He was a backup center last year behind Miles Turner, and go to the Bulls this year. I don't know. It depends on what the Bulls do with Vooch, and then he'll get some playing time, right? That they just need to. I don't know what the Bulls are going to do with Zach LaVine, but they need to pick something because they've just been in this no man's land for a little bit. Like the Nets finally picked a decision. They had a really good star in Mikal Bridges. And they got some guys out there. And then it's like, okay, well, you don't even make the play in, but you don't tank well enough to get picked. So it's like you got to pick a side, bro. So they got rid of DeRozan. They got to get rid of LaVine. Hopefully, LaVine doesn't go to the Clippers. I don't want him to. We don't need him right now. I've heard he's going to get traded, but then they got to get rid of Vooch, and then you're left guys with like Patrick Williams, Jalen Terry, or Dalen Terry. Sorry, I looked at Jalen. Then you got you get Jalen Smith, who's a good backup big. So it's like Kobe White. They got Josh Giddey. So they got some guys they can run with. They just have to kind of pick a direction. And so I hope that this Jalen Smith signing gets them to move off of Vooch. Maybe Vooch retires. I don't know who he's going to go to. Next biggest free agent thing. I think in my video, I had a video on my members only. If you're not a member, you can check it out. I have a ton of exclusive content coming out over there. Just me talking. It's just like this, kind of like live streams. Just talking and going over my opinion. So I made a video on my top 3 best and worst free agent signings. Isaiah Hartenstein was my number 1 free agent signing of the entire summer so far. And I think that's going to stay. It's because they got him, that he got his money, right? So 3 year, $87 million. It's a little under 30 mil. So it's probably what, 29 mil a year, which is kind of a lot, but he's been playing very, very well. So he deserves that money, right? Once again, he averaged 8.3 rebounds in 25 minutes. You give him a per 36 amount of rebounds, and it's like, what, freaking 12? Something like that. It's a lot of rebounds. He's a baller. He will give you 10 and 10 consistently every single game if he's starting. Now, I don't know if the Thunder are going to start him. Realistically, I don't think they will, because that never. What the fans want is never what we get, because we're not the GM. We're like, oh, that would be so great. Play Chet at the 4 and play Hartenstein at the 5. I said the same thing when the Lakers signed Jackson Hayes last summer. I was like, dude, I love Jackson Hayes. And Davis is better playing the 4 anyway, so put Jackson Hayes at the 5. That's a good front court. And then LeBron played the 4 and AD played the 5 anyway. So it's like, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just assuming, based off of my experiences, going through this whole phase and then seeing how the season plays out in general, I think Hartenstein will probably come off the bench. I don't think, maybe he'll start occasionally. He will not be a long-time starter for this team. Do I think that he will share minutes with Chet? Absolutely. I don't think Chet is going to overtake him, because you can't pay a guy $30 million a year and then have him come off the bench and get 15 minutes. He will get a lot of minutes, and he will play. He will probably end games. I'm going to say that. They might end games with those two in the front court rather than starting games with them. So we'll see how that goes. But best free agent signing so far. We got Tobias Harris, 2 year, $52 million deal with the Detroit Pistons. This was interesting to me because it's like, you didn't even really get a bag. Like, I guess he got his bag in Philly, but was that $26 million a year with no play option? So you just kind of get the 2 and you're there in Detroit for 2 years. So hopefully that helps him out. I don't know. I mean, they lost Eric Burks, and they lost Quentin Grimes. They lost Bojan Bogdanovic. They lost some other guys. They get Tobias Harris. So I don't know if he's going to help them, or if he's going to kind of just ride off into the sunset, because he used to play for Detroit. That's kind of where I remember him being pretty pretty solid. Um, but I don't know if that moves the needle at all for the Pistons. We'll have to see. I think they've got too much of a young core for him to really make a massive impact and be like their best player. I think Cade's still going to run the show. Jalen Duran's still a bucket. Jaden Ivey's still really really good. They got young guys like Asar Thompson and Marcus Sasser. So I mean that I don't know how much this is going to do for them, but we'll see. Um, Justin Minea, we're gonna skip this. Drew Eubanks, that doesn't really move me. 2 year, $10 million with Jazz. Who cares? We might talk about the Jazz later, and we might do depending on where Laurie goes or where Walker Kessler goes. Whatever happens with trades between now and Thursday's stream, we'll talk about it Thursday. So, Timberwolves get Luka Garza, nothing crazy. DeLon Wright going to the Bucks, nothing crazy. Derek White re-signed, nothing crazy. Klay Thompson, okay, this is a big one. Klay Thompson This has plans to go to the Mavericks on a 3 year, $50 million contract with a player option. Um, but I would like for this to go as smoothly as I think it's gonna go. However, like I said with like the Hartenstein thing, where I was like, oh, I want him to play at the 4 or at the 5, and want you to play at the 4. I want Klay to come in and be like, oh man, this is gonna be a great option for Klay. They got Kyrie and Luka. All he's gotta do is get off ball and just shoot shots. Well, we said the same thing about Tim Hardaway Jr. And obviously Klay Thompson is a like planets ahead of Tim Hardaway Jr. as a shooter in his career. Right now they're probably around the same level. Who knows? But we said the same thing about Tim Hardaway Jr. So it's like, how much better is Klay gonna be? We already know that we're losing him on the defensive end a little bit, and we already know that he's a little bit of a shooting slump past year. I think that's why he left. I mean, if Klay was really shooting well and he was playing very, very well for his relative age, would he have left or would he have gotten benched so heavily? No, I don't think so. So, um, as much optimism that I would like to have about this signing and it changing, I think losing Derrick Jones Jr. and losing that consistency and continuity as a team and bringing in Klay Thompson instead, you got to start him. You can't not start this dude. So he's just starting 3. So you got Luka, Kyrie, and Klay at the 1, 2, and 3, and then you got PJ Washington the 4, Daniel Gafford to the 5. Not a bad starting 5, but then you lose Josh Green off the bench, who was a very, very key player. So already the Mavericks lose Josh Green and Derrick Jones Jr. Not good. They lose Tim Hardaway Jr. as well. So it's more about who the Mavericks lost, and I don't think they're going to be able to repeat what they did this year unless Luka continues to just flame people. But the West is healthier this year, so it's going to be very, very hard. If Klay can step up and give them 18 to 20 points per game, which would be exceeding expectations by a mile, but I think that's the only way that they can do what they do again, is if he plays that well, and I just don't think he will. So next one, this is a big one. Nicholas Batum. So, for those of you who remember, last year we traded Nicholas Batum and Robert Covington for James Harden. But we had played 4 games. We were 3-1 in the first 4 games of the season with the team without James Harden, right? We went 3-1. But those 3 wins, we were bodying people. It was just defense, 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 3, dunk. We were all over the place. We had Russ, T-Man, PG, Kawhi, Rocco, Zubac, Batum, Norman Powell. Like, we were all over the place. So getting Batum back for the Clippers is a huge, huge, huge deal. Especially because he said he was going to retire after the Paris Olympics. Which makes sense. Oh, I wanted to play in LA, but they traded me. I'm surprised. This is loyalty, bro. He recognized that it's a business. And it's like, hey, man, you got to do what you got to do. We traded him to Philly. He comes back the next year to sign a 2-year deal after he said he was going to retire. So I love Nico. He's one of my favorite Clippers. He's just a baller. I mean, he's amazing. He still plays very, very good defense for his age. I think I don't know how old he is exactly. Should we look up how old he is? 35. Okay, that's what I thought. So he's 35. Um, and he's that's my French boy. So I mean, you already know. Like I gotta be here for my French boys. But I love Nico. I think he's been playing pretty decent in the Olympics so far. So or in the qualifiers. But I'm glad he's here. So We got LeBron taking the full max, whatever. Larry Marketing getting traded potentially. DeAnthony Melton going to the Warriors. Nothing crazy. Let's see what else we got. Goga Bitadze. I don't know how to say his name actually. That's like one of the only guys that I don't know how to say his name. Klay Thompson is confirmed. Let's keep going. Gary Harris, I don't care about. Mo Bamba. Going to the Clippers. I'm not super like high on this. I don't really like care that much. I'm sad we got rid of Plumlee, and so Plumlee went to the Suns, and Tice just signed with the Pelicans. Tice was a bucket. We picked him up. He was a free agent last season, so we picked him up middle of the season. Played well. So our backup guy now is Mo Bamba. So hopefully he can step up. We've got a little bit of a younger core. We're going a little bit younger with Bamba in the front court. So I don't really have a thing with this. Hopefully this isn't like a one and done where he's here for a year and he's kind of like and then he just leaves. You know, that would suck. I want him to play well. Obviously, I don't know how well he's gonna play, but he's long. He can shoot the ball. So that's all I got on that. Mitchell resigns. Kemba Walker retired. That's crazy. Mo Wagner, 2-year, $22 million deal. I like Mo Wagner. I think he's probably worth a little bit more than that. Not by much. Maybe if it was like 2-year, $30 million, I'd be like, okay, that's a good deal. But I think he's got a lot of room for improvement. I mean, him and brother play on the same team. That's kind of sick. But in terms of that, the Magic, we'll get into the Magic later. I got his brother's contract we are definitely going to talk about. David Tillman to the Celtics. I thought he was pretty good. Magic, so 5-year, $84 million contract. That's around, what is that? 15-ish mil a year for Jonathan Isaac, who, I don't know, Magic fans, if you're out there, I don't know how good he's actually been. But he's been injured, which sucks, but even when he's healthy on the court, like, how good is this dude really? So, Magic fans, let me know if you exist at all. Kyle Anderson of the Warriors is just weird. Kyle Anderson signing is always weird. He played pretty well for the Timberwolves last year, but going to the Warriors for $9 million a year is not, like, bad, but it just is. We'll just move on. I don't really care. Damian Lee, Joe Ingles of the Timberwolves. Oh, I forgot about that one. That's kind of a cool one. That gives him a lot of shooting. If he's there to just catch and shoot, bro. Conley, Gobert, and Ingles. That's a squad right there. That Utah, right here, Utah Jazz teammates. So that's kind of cool. This is a bigger one. This is one of my honorable mentions on the video I was talking about earlier, on the members only. Alec Burks of the Miami Heat. Man, Burks went from the Pistons to the Knicks, and now he's on the Heat. So that he can just shoot and he plays defense. It's nothing crazy. Like you said right there, 10 points per game, right? Not insane, but I think the value. He's just a very solid rotational player. You throw him into the Heat, he's gonna play minutes and he's gonna get buckets, right? He's not gonna talk. He plays good defense, and I don't know. I feel like that's just a really, really solid signing and a very typical Heat player. We always see these like Heat players. That's a Heat player right there. Buddy Hield going to the Warriors. This doesn't really move the needle too much for me. Getting DeAnthony Melton, getting Buddy Hield, getting Kyle Anderson. Hopefully this gives Steph and Draymond the kind of cash they need. And they've already got guys like, Podziemski and Kuminga and Trayce Jackson-Davis. And I don't know if this is going to do too much for them. I think Steph has to play out of his mind to really make this signing right here like a big deal. I mean, I really don't know. It's going to be very interesting. The Warriors are going to be very questionable going into the season. Okay, so DeMar, blah blah blah, going to Sacramento. We'll talk that. We'll go into his contract later. So this contract, this was the second worst contract that in my video that I talked about. My second worst contract. 5 years, $24 million maximum rookie contract extension. Now, I talk about I don't really like extensions, but dude, what? Like, if he makes an all-NBA team, which, brother, it's Franz Wagner. He could be making $45 million more a year, which is way too much money. Granted, it's who are you going to pay? But it's is he that good? You have to pay him that much? really? Like what? He averaged like 19 points on like 28% shooting from three. I think that's the thing everyone's been talking about. It's like, really? That's your guy? I mean, you go out and get KCP. I think it was like 3 years, 66 million, so $22 million a year. I mean, yeah, I mean, you could have paid KCP a little bit more. Like, go get somebody else. I mean, I guess you re-sign Goga. Uh, you re-sign Mo Wagner. I mean, I just don't get how much money this guy is making. It's not even because he's bad. It's just like he's not bad, but he's not good either. He's okay, but this much money is wild. That's all I'm gonna say. Malik Beasley going to the Pistons. Once again, I don't know. Just like the Tobias Harris, it's like he was fine on the Bucks. He was okay on the Bucks. I thought he was pretty good, but I don't know how much this is gonna do for them. That's pretty much it. 1 year, worth more than 6 mil. Sixers getting rid of Paul Reed. Sixers get Caleb Martin 4 years, $32 million a year. So not bad. $8 million a year for a guy. They say they're gonna play him a power forward, and I'm like, since when is Caleb Martin a power forward, bro? He's like 6'5", 6'6", and I get that's like, oh, Zion's a power forward. You know, look at Zion, dude. Like he's huge. Caleb Martin is not. He's a two guard in my opinion. So don't know what they're doing there, but good for them, I guess. Devontae Graham going to the Hornets. Back to the Hornets. That's where Devontae Graham kind of first popped off. Okay, Miles Bridges. I'm so glad the Clippers did not get Miles Bridges. They hopped off that train because we were going to trade like Norman Powell or like T-Man for Miles Bridges. It's not worth it. Not worth it. Everyone's already giving us crap for signing KBJ. And they're like, oh, you're going to get Miles Bridges too? And I'm like, okay, how about we just not? And we saved $25 million a year. So I don't think we needed him anyways. We already re-signed Nick Batum, and we get Derrick Jones Jr., and we have Kawhi, and then we have like Amir Coffey. And we just don't need another forward. So I'm glad we did not go with that. So in terms of the Hornets, I don't know what this does for them either. I don't really care. They're just gonna be kind of right. Saric agreed to a 2 year, $10.6 million with the Nuggets. This would be kind of cool. They need. This is the kind of guy that they need off the bench. He can come in. He can stretch the floor. He's a good passer, good facilitator. So maybe make those Jokic off the court minutes hurt a little bit less for this team. They're also trying to go for Russ, which I'm scared about. But um, Sacramento Kings sign and trade, get DeMar on the Kings. I saw this guy he got a tattoo of DeMar DeRozan, the Kings logo on his arm, right as DeMar signed it. I'm like, this does not do anything. I don't care. This does not help the Kings at all. I don't think this helps the Kings at all. It's a cool signing, but this might be where DeMar is heading to rest, is in Sacramento. So especially you just gotta think about the amount of teams that are in the West, dude. I mean, who's good? We got the Thunder, the Nuggets, the Timberwolves, the Mavericks, right? Then the Grizzlies are getting back, right? They're gonna come compete. The Rockets are going to come back and compete. The Clippers are still there. Who knows what the Lakers and the Warriors are going to do, right? That's already 9 teams. I'm not even talking about the Suns. That's 10 teams right there. Pelicans they got DeJounte Murray. I don't know if they're going to get BI back, but that's 10 teams, not even including the freaking Kings. So don't know how. And then the Spurs. If Wemby and Chris Paul decide to pop the freak off, and they're in the play-in, where are the Kings at? Who are the Kings going to beat? I just don't. I don't know. The Pacific Division is always the hardest. With you got Kings, Warriors, Clippers, Lakers, and the Suns. That's 4 of those 5 teams are always in the playoffs. So I thought it was very interesting. Once again, Daniel Tice, the Pelicans. Rip my goat. I love that guy. Played so well. Haywood Highsmith, return to the Heat. Okay, so I'm gonna go get some water real quick. I will come back now. I'm gonna go get water. I'm gonna go get my jersey, and we're going to come back and talk about PG, okay? So give me 1 sec. We are out. Give me 1 sec. Okay. This kind of looks stupid, but this looks so dumb, dude. This looks so stupid. Okay, you ready for this? Oh, we're going to Twitter, baby. We're going to Twitter. Let's can we like zoom in on this too? How about you not go to the side? Can I? Is there no way for me to? Is that fine? Is that good for y'all? Let me go one back out. Okay. Okay. So Paul George leaving the Clippers. Obviously, I've got a Clippers jersey of Paul George. Okay. I like it a lot. I actually love this jersey. My wife got it for me for Christmas. It's like our is this our city? This is our in season tournament jersey. I actually like the jersey a lot. The clips, I thought that was fire. Um, it's pretty nice. I like the little blue. I like our jerseys now that we got going into this season. But so I've been a Clippers fan for I've been a Clippers fan for about 10 years now. Okay, seen a lot of crap. I got a Chris Paul jersey in the back. DeAndre Jordan is still my favorite center, I think, of all time. I love DeAndre. Blake was cool. Then like we those guys leave, and I have my beef with Chris Paul. I think we reconciled that now, right? And then we get like the Lou Will, Montrezl Harrell, and then we draft Shea. So that team's pretty cool, right? Had that 33-point comeback in the first round against Golden State. I was watching that. That was crazy. Um, then we let those guys go, and Kawhi and PG come in, and pass. That's been the past 5 years, right? So it's I've got a whole video on my channel talking about. It's just unfortunate that this is the path that we chose, right? We chose to go after Kawhi and PG and bring those guys home, and it's nobody's fault that Kawhi and PG have been hurt. Now Paul has been healthy relatively the past year. I think he played 74 games. That's what he said himself. 74 games. He played 74 games, and Kawhi was playing, but not enough to the point where Kawhi was still the number one option this year. Okay? PG played 78 games, and he averaged 22 points per game. If you are the if you're the co-star, and he said himself, he's the second guy. If you're the second guy on the team, and your first guy goes out and is hurt most of the time, why are you not stepping up and bullying people like you said you was going to do, right? He said, I'm a bully this year. That got me excited because I'm like, yeah, Kawhi's probably going to be hurt again. He's going to come out and he's going to average 30. You average 22 points per game, dude. That's like not okay. What? Like, I, I'm just blown away sometimes. I feel like he just talked too much. Emphasis right here. My goal is to win one here. I never want to leave Indy. Okay, of course, of course. I'm here to stay. We can bring this home. Of course. Like, obviously, when you're there, you got to talk about it. This is where my heart is. I want to retire a Clipper. Now, that's a little bit different than the first two statements because he's like, I want to retire a Clipper. And he's like, of course, I want to win a championship, but I want to be here, right? Not going to lie, this beanie's like mad comfortable with the headphones. It's just sick. So I just, it's just, it's just rough, man. I can't. It's hard. It's really hard. Also, BJ Boston. Talk about Kawhi. Blah, 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 blah. Go up. Okay. So Unbiased Clip fan, right here. Let's go into it. Oh, what the? I don't know what that was. Okay. Unbiased Clip fan. A star in LA is looking to take a pay cut so his team can get better and make a push to the championship. Okay, that's cool. It's not the star who's from the area, has never been to a finals, and should be the hungriest he's ever been for a championship, right? Okay, cool. Kind of based, obviously. Talking about LeBron took a pay cut. That didn't even work out because nobody even came to LA, which is kind of tough. Yet, at least. No one's come to LA yet. Is this like off? Am I? That feels a little bit better. Just it looks slanted in the video. But yeah, it's like I'm not gonna be the guy who's gonna tell PG what to do. If he wants to go get his bag, fine, he can go get his bag. But you're not gonna get your bag from the team who you did not step up and you did not bully anybody. You got bullied, and in fact, we signed the guy that bullied you. So it's like, do you see where I'm at as a Clippers fan? Sorry. Do you see where I'm at as a Clippers fan? It's like, what am I supposed to feel? Am I supposed to be like, oh, thank you so much, PG? Everyone's talking about, oh, he brought us to one Western Conference Finals. Okay, he did. But Kawhi was healthy up until the Western Conference Finals, and T-Man had a 40 bomb to close the Jazz out at home. Terrence Mann had a 40-piece. So it's like, did PG really carry that much? That's not how I remember it. Anyways, I just love this meme. This is funny.
Original episode of Podcast P presented to you by Prize.
Oh, I'm not even showing it. I'm freaking stupid. Let me show it.
By Prize Picks, a Wave Sports and Entertainment original. Today's episode is a special 13 burning questions.
Okay. I think that's hilarious. I laughed. I enjoyed that very much. It's just hard, man. It's rough sometimes. It's hard to I don't get it. I don't get the we'll get in the whole discourse. Let's listen to what Brian Windhorst has to say about specifically Paul George going to the Sixers.
Paul George. Obviously, that's a huge moment. It's certainly the headline of the summer without question. This is the fourth time in about 7 years that Paul George has been a headliner of an off-season move. One when he was traded on June 30th from Indiana to Oklahoma City. The following year, when the Lakers and other teams were ready to make a big pitch to him, and he re-signed, if you remember, just all of a sudden showed up at a party with Russell Westbrook. That became a massive moment where the Thunder were able to keep him. The year after that, when he was included in one of the greatest and the most amazing trades in the history of the NBA, where he and Kawhi Leonard went together to the Clippers. This time. So this is now the fourth time that you could say that he was a leading headline in the offseason. The previous three have led to what? Oh. And that's my point. I'm not sure. I certainly recognize that the 76ers are a formidable team. I think they're going to need a year. I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on them to win this year. I know that that's the thing that you would say is, well, now Embiid's got to win. And I agree, especially for a team that hasn't gotten to the conference finals, that certainly would be the barrier. But historically, we see teams, when they hollow out their roster to create a big three, they always need more time to backfill that roster. And I'm going to give the Sixers that time to backfill that roster. But I'm tired of sitting here the first week of July and declaring that a Paul George arrival changes the everything, because I believe that with the Clippers. I thought that team was set up to dominate. Now, we had the pandemic, and that obviously affected Paul significantly. But bottom line, I'm just going to wait back a little bit before I'm willing to just assume that this fit will mean the changing of the guard somewhere.
Okay, so what I think Windhorst is experiencing there, something that I talked about earlier and I alluded to, is I'm going to call it free agency fatigue. I got a D on that crap. That was fire. I got to copyright that. Free agency fatigue. He's like, I'm not going to sit here the first week of July and act like that's the thing, because that's what I thought about the Clippers. And he said the previous three have led to what? The Thunder, it was okay. He was third in MVP voting. Not bad, right? But the Clippers, what have we done? I'm a Clippers fan, and I love my team. I made an entire video about Kawhi Leonard has literally done nothing for the team and the franchise. He's done nothing. PG as well. PG even less so, right? They have done nothing. What have we done? Right? No 60-win season, no number one seed crazy, no actual threat going into the playoffs, no losing the finals run, right? Losing the Western Conference Finals to a Suns team that everyone kind of poops on is like, oh man, the Bucks like killed them in the finals, right? So it's like, what have we done? They haven't done anything. They haven't led, like, they led us to nothing. So it's really interesting to think that PG wants money from the team that he hasn't really been able to help bolster, and it's very, very interesting to me. Let's see. I've got some more stuff. So we got this just funny meme, right? So thank you, PG, down here. Paul George posted 7 points in game 3 of 20. I get that people have bad rounds, and he had 33 the next game, but it's like, I can't. Him saying I'm on my bully, I don't think you understand how much that like is in my head. I'm on my bully. I'm on my bully. I'm on my bully. And then you go out and you lose in the first round when Daddy Kawhi is not there. Doesn't make sense. So maybe I should just leave this alone and kind of, I don't really care about it, but it's just like, man, this just sucks, dude. It sucks to think that he wants more than he's worth. He's not worth that much. The initial Clippers offer, let's actually go to this right now. Now we'll go to what PG said. So PG said he was felt disrespected by the LA Clippers first offer of 2 years, $60 million. So now, in my opinion, that is a low ball. That's a low ball. We offered James 2 years, $70 million, but James played better than he did in the playoffs. Overall, there's the aspect of, first of all, James being a parallel to better score than PG in the playoffs. Excuse me. Dude, I think I'm gonna sneeze. I can't tell if I'm gonna sneeze or not. Oh my gosh. So that is a low ball, but it's like when you average like around 20 points for the season and then you do worse in the playoffs, like 2 year 60 mil, maybe negotiate it from there, but it's like, how do you go to say the 2 year 60 mil? Then he's like, okay, give me the same as Kawhi. Because y'all view us the same right here. Y'all view us the same. We came here together. We want to finish together, right? I'll take a Kawhi, got no problem. I was cool with that. And we were still taking less. Kawhi took less. So if he takes less, not gonna be about me getting paid more than him. Obviously not. Heck no. Y'all give him that, give me that. They didn't want to do that. So here's what they did. They gave him the 3 year, $150 million. They said take it. Then he says no. After tabling talks until after the season, George said the Clippers eventually offered him the same deal as Leonard. I'll take what Kawhi got, no problem. That's what he said. I was cool with that, and we were still taking less. I'll take what Kawhi got, no problem. The Clippers eventually offered him the same deal as Leonard. But then George wanted the no trade clause, which the team declined to include. So why are you going to say, hey, I'll take what Kawhi got? Then they literally give you that, and then they're like, no, give me 4 years, the max, and then the no trade clause. And the Clippers are like, dude, why would we give you a no trade clause? You're 34. So at the end of your contract, you're going to be 38. Then you can finally get out of our stupid franchise? Like, I don't understand. This doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I thought I did enough to earn that 3 year, $150 million with a no trade clause. They didn't want to do it. So it was just stalemate ultimately until, all right, ship has sailed. I love Steve. Lawrence didn't feel right to come back with that type of energy and be comfortable playing back in LA. So he got his feelings hurt, which is okay. He wanted his money. Philly gave him his money. It just is confusing. It's confusing to me, and it just sucks as a Clippers fan because obviously if PG came back, I'm not gonna be mad about it. Did he play not amazing? No, or he played fine, right? He played okay. But if he comes back, I'm like, hey, let's go, let's run it back. It's okay. I kind of would have like those goggles on where I'm like, okay, like it's gonna be fine. Wipe it all off. It's just hard for me to see that when we look at this, we lose in the first round back-to-back years. 2023, okay? The roles are flipped. PG is out the whole time, and Kawhi is in. But what does Kawhi do in the first round against the Suns? I think he had like 35 in game 1 and 38 in game 2. Like, he bodied Kevin Durant. He was killing Kevin Durant. And then PG goes up against Derrick Jones Jr. with no Kawhi, all the room in the world to score 40 points a game. And he scores 7 points in game 3. And then I just can't stand it. I'm glad PG got his deal, got his money. It just does not make sense to me, dude. So, anyways, that's all I got on the PG thing. If you stayed and watched the end of that, hopefully y'all enjoyed that. I mean, that's just my view as a Clippers fan. There's not a lot of Clippers fans in the world, right? So, like, somebody had to come out and speak on it. From my point of view, I think the Sixers will be fine. I think it'll be good if Embiid goes down. They can have, some guys there. He's definitely better than Tobias Harris. Does that move the needle in the East, like Brian Windhorst said? No. Celtics are still probably going to run the East. If Dame and Giannis are completely healthy, they're going to run the East. The Knicks are still very, very good. Cavs and Magic are up-and-coming teams. We got some guys over there. And then the Heat can just do whatever the freak they want, apparently. Jimmy can just turn it on, and he's good to go, I guess. So I don't think that makes the Sixers contenders whatsoever. It just keeps them in the same place, if I'm being completely honest. PG's 34, turning 35. I don't know. I've wanted to rebuild for a while. The whole year I've been like, you know what? If this year does not turn out and we lose in the playoffs, like in the first round, like we did, I want to rebuild. But we got rid of BJ Boston, so that kind of sucks. But I'm glad we got James back. Now, the James contract is $70 million for 2 years, so $35 million a year. A little expensive, but I'm glad to have James back. He's one of the best parts of our team and one of my favorite Clippers players of all time so far. So he's quiet, does what he got to do. He runs that pick and roll with Zoo very, very well. Anyways, man, this is just rough, dude. It's hard to grasp what's going on, man. It's just confusing. So that might be it for the stream today. Thursday we'll be back. If any news happens, we'll definitely be back Thursday. Stay up in the community tab. Yeah. I think that was good for me to get that PG stuff off my chest. I think I really need to talk about that. Appreciate y'all. Once again, I talk about a lot of stuff on the members only. If you want to go check that out, hit the join button at the top of the channel page, whatever, to support me, and you see a lot of fun stuff. It's a fun way for me to like just rant like this and to post it in a video form rather than like highly edit it, so YouTube really works at it and pushes it out. So a lot of support on the channel lately. We're on the road to 1K. I'm excited. So that's all I got. Stream might be over. We're gonna head out. Be there Thursday, same time in the morning. Stay posting community tab. So that's all I got.